Hey guys, welcome to another Broken Meeple shelf by shelf video, and hopefully I can get the angle better on this one, because I noticed in the last couple, particularly this one, I thought, hang on, angle of the game wasn't quite right. I mean, I don't have a viewfinder on my mobile phone, so I can't easily see. Hopefully this one will work better. So we are on now, shelf 10. Shelf 10. We're finally in the double digits. Help. But 4 games here, so let's go over them. First up, Wavelength. Wavelength is this interesting new party game coming out from a certain individual that I've not necessarily gone mad for his games in the past, but Mr. Wolfgang Wash, and I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe I wasn't the biggest fan of his other games, but this one is actually pretty good. This one has you with this giant, great big, like, dial thing that you essentially have a clue card to say, what have we got here? Bad person and good person. And from that, the person like lifts up the screen and thinks, all right, based on the dial nat, where do I think? Let's take an inverted there. Let's say Severus Snape. Let's go for a Harry Potter theme, okay? So with Severus Snape, you're thinking, well, okay, was he technically bad or was he good? Well, he is good, but he had his moments. So maybe I'd stick him about there. And so you close it, and then the other players on your team have to try and guess where they think you would place someone like Severus Snape in this dial. Very simple, and you've got all these different cards to work with. This is a solid party game, and, definitely one to try out. But I will accept that there are some limitations with the fact that it doesn't need to be this big. The box is somewhat maybe a bit oversized because of that dial thing. But it's not going to be to everyone's taste. But this one gets quite a lot of laughs, and it can work remotely. It could work with any group size, whatever you want to do. It's pretty cool, and you should give it a look-see. Next up is Roleplayer. Roleplayer is my choice from this and Sagrada, which is the whole dice placement to achieve points thing. But Roleplayer is the one I would go for. This has got the expansion in it, Monsters and Demons or something. I can't remember what it's called. But I've also kickstarted the newest expansion. I can't wait for that to come out. But Roleplayer is great solo, works up to 4, and this one has you building a D&D character. So already that theme sings to me, because I used to do a lot of RPGs. And with this, you roll the dice, you can do shenanigans by, like, if I put it into dexterity, I can re-roll another die, or like as intelligence or whatever. Dexterity, I can shift a die from one to another. Strength, I can boost a die. All these different things you pull off depending on which attribute you put the die in. But you've also got item cards to customize your character. You've got personality traits. You've got a drafting selection mechanic of like, oh, if I take that one, I get first choice, but then I don't go first next round, stuff like that. The Monsters expansion adds more stuff that you can kill for further points. The theme is kind of pasted, but the fact that it is about building a D&D character just sings to me theme-wise. Yes, there's more meat in it. There's more involved in Sagrada by far. But Sagrada I'm kind of done with. Once you realise that the best way to play Sagrada is to pick the easiest map card possible and work from that, you're kind of done. Because never pick the hardest card in Sagrada, because you are just playing so much to the Elder Gods for luck in that game. It's not worth the extra tokens you get for the powerful abilities. Just grab the easiest card and go from there, and it tends to work best. This one is definitely my preferred pick. Cool, back complaining already. Alright, next up is Deception Murder in Hong Kong. This is a fantastic social deduction game with Undercover Allies expansion. You've got the forensic scientist, a bit like a Mysterium, where a crime has been committed and you're trying to figure out which one of you is the murderer. Well, one of you already knows, but the good guys are trying to figure out who the murderer is. And you've got the weapon cards and the evidence cards in front of you, and you're trying to picture together, right, well, based on these clues that the forensics giving us, which of these cards match? Which could it be? You, isn't it? Phil, it's you. And then everyone starts trash talking and bluffing and lying, deception from the murderer and their accomplice. The witness knows who it is, but has to try and keep hidden, so they can't just be obvious. So it's like, it's him, it's him, it's him. It's great. It's a solid game. I wish that it had a better insert for story, because I can't store it vertically, otherwise the cards go all over the shop. But this is fantastic. Love it. Works at all the different player counts, works for different numbers and different player abilities. Really cool. I love Deception. And this, one of the newest games in the collection. The 2nd edition version of Atlantis Rising. Look at that box. Look how gorgeous it is. Look at all the colour. Yes, colour. Get that, publishers. This one is a fantastic co-op. Never played the first edition. Never played it. Just heard Z Garcia mention it all the time on Dice Town and thought, sounds good. When do I get to play it? Well, now I can, with Elf Creek Games bringing this fantastically gorgeous looking second edition version where you've got a peninsula map and you're trying to gain various resources to construct this machine that's going to get Atlantis away and up into safety. Whatever. Insert sci-fi ancient history spin theme here. But you've got these characters with different abilities, Vincent Dutrait's artworks all over it. The colour pops off this board so much, particularly with the play mat that I've got. But it's kind of like a push your luck co-op. You know, you have to go to the different ends of these peninsula like maps, and they get you different things. But the further you go out, the better the action is. But the sea's cropping in, the whole island is sinking. So there's a chance that if you go too far out, you'll sink and you won't get to do anything that turn. So you have to push your luck as to how badly do I need these minerals and how likely do I think it is that that bit is going to sink. Simple rules, but you've got all the different machine parts that give you special bonuses and you can chop and change them in every game. You've got the different characters, works well solo, works with 2-player, works up to 7 players, although for the length, I mean an hour to 2 hours, I recommend you cap it at 5. But yeah, this is a really good solo game, and I'm a solo co-op game, and I'm glad I now finally have my own copy. So yeah, whew, my back is killing me. But yeah, 10 shelves, 4 on there. Next up, we'll move up to 11. Only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves to do in this room. And then we go back to the main room to talk about all the stuff on there, where you'll probably see more publisher stuff together. Because really, when you're here and onwards, apart from 1 or 2 exceptions, the publishers are kind of like one game per publisher. I'd say that shelf is a different story. But the rest of these, yeah, it's kind of one game per publisher, really. And that's not to say the publishers are bad, it's just out of the games they've released, these are the ones I've wanted to keep. So, I'll see you on the next video. Take care, thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting these videos. Your comments have been fantastic, especially during these isolation times. So, I'll see you next one. Take care.